A memory surfaced of her tiny, trembling hand reaching for her father, her voice full of hope. "Daddy, hug." But the only reply was a cold refusal from a man as large and unfeeling as a boulder. "Get out!" No one expects anything from me, and if they do, it's only hatred and contempt. There were the constant curses, the cold stones thrown her way, the people around her just waiting for a chance to cast her out. They shooed her away as if she were something filthy. "Get lost, monster," they'd scream. "Her blood can cure diseases. Let's drain her dry. Get her, she's not human." One day, she carelessly tripped on a rock and fell hard. With no one to complain to or cry with, all she could do was let out a small, "Ah." I thought my mother was the only person in the world who loved me. Meredith's mother was a tall, beautiful young woman with a cloud of white hair. The little girl had once complained to her face a mask of misery and her eyes welling with tears. "Mom, Meredith is so sad. Everyone hates me, and even Daddy won't hug me. But I was the one who killed her." "Mom, can you hug me?" Meredith begged, wanting to play. She had no idea that a mysterious knife had just pierced her mother's body, stealing her life away. By the time she realized it, it was too late. Her mother's final tears fell as she tried to protect her child. Her last words were full of worry and regret for her daughter. "Meredith, if only you were human." As her mother took her last breath, drowning in tears of agony, the little girl screamed over and over, "Mommy, don't leave me." The scene shifts to just outside the Capitol, where a teenage Meredith is napping under a tree, one arm draped over her forehead. Her pillow is a wooden chest overflowing with gold and jewels. Suddenly she jerks awake, her eyes wide with confusion. "I think I was dreaming about something. What was it? Ugh, I can't remember." This time she's no longer sad. On the contrary, she seems carefree and innocent. Looking down at the human town from a high vantage point, she says cheerfully, "Awesome, I'm almost there." She adds, "I sealed my own memories. All I remember is that I have to go to the human town to learn how to be human." Meredith has to pack up her chest of treasures before she can head down. As she cheerfully stuffs the golden jewels into a bag, she thinks, "Gotta carry all you guys with me." Suddenly, a loud noise catches her attention. The sound seems to be coming from deep within the forest. Recalling the moment she woke up, Meredith guesses, "I think that's the sound that woke me up." When she ventures into the forest to investigate, she's stunned by the scene before her. "There are people here," she thinks to herself. As she stealthily hides her presence, she sees a knight fighting off a swarm of demon bats all by himself. They circle the lone warrior, who is starting to regret his decisions. Damn it, he thinks. Charging into monster territory alone really was a stupid idea. While the knight fears for his life, Meredith is staring at him with a completely different thought. A human? Her eyes begin to sparkle and she starts drooling. "He looks so delicious," she thinks with glee. No, 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 you can't eat humans." Facing a growing swarm of demon bats, the knight grits his teeth. "If I don't use my special move now, I'm a dead man," he mutters. "Might as well use it. They're just mid-level monsters anyway. I'll wait for them to get closer and take them all out in one shot." Before he can finish his thought, the bats dive in for a surprise attack. Seeing the danger, Meredith panics. "No, he's going to die!" A vortex of wind shoots out from behind the knight, whose name is Lion. For a split second, his knightly intuition tells him something is wrong. Wait, why do I have such a bad feeling about this? A massive gale tears through the area, blowing the demon bats away. Unfortunately, the young knight is caught in the blast and sent flying before he can react, letting out a helpless, "Ah!" The force of the gale is immense, leveling a huge swath of the forest and felling countless trees with a thunderous roar. The one who created it was none other than Meredith. Excess energy crackles around her body in arcs of golden lightning. Two small, elegant black wings uncontrollably sprout from her back, a process that seems painful enough to make her cry out. Looking at them, she thinks, "Ah, how could I forget? If I use magic more than 5 times, I can't turn back into a human." But there was a more pressing concern. After her spell, the knight was lying motionless on the ground, likely dead. With a dazed look on her face, Meredith pokes the unfortunate knight with a small stick. "I wasn't careful with my magic, and I think I killed this guy." A brilliant idea pops into her head. "I know, I'll bury him. Maybe by spring he'll sprout back to life from the ground." No sooner said than done, she digs a hole to hide the evidence and bury the poor knight. After moving him into the grave she'd prepared, he surprisingly starts to stir. He isn't dead yet. He groggily opens his eyes. Unaware, Meredith is still lost in thought about how delicious the piece of human meat in front of her smells. But he smells so good. In his daze, the young knight sees Meredith's silhouette, mesmerized to the point of drooling. "Who's that?" he wonders. Just as he opens his mouth to ask, "Who are you?" The poor knight gets a direct taste of Mother Earth's specialty. Meredith scoops up a shovel full of dirt and dumps it right into his mouth. What the? Unable to stand it, he bolts upright, spitting out mouthfuls of dirt. Looking down at his disheveled state, he can't help but feel disappointed. It's all dirty now. I was being so careful not to get any monster blood on my clothes. Seeing that the knight wasn't dead after all, Meredith looks at him cheerfully. Oh, you're not dead? Lion eyes Meredith warily. Of course I'm not dead. Who are you? What are you doing in monster territory? Ignoring his question, Meredith runs over and grabs his hand, a wide, innocent smile on her face as their eyes meet. You're not dead. That's great. My name's Meredith, and you're the first human I've ever met. Only then does the knight notice her wings. Wings, he thinks. In my experience, if a beautiful girl approaches you out of nowhere, it can only be a scam. Instantly on high alert and using his brain for once, the knight pushes Meredith away. Are you telling me you're not human? Without a hint of hesitation, Meredith answers him innocently. Nope. I'm looking for the human town to learn how to be human. Faced with her answer, he falls silent, observing the girl in front of him without a word. Seeing him just staring at her, Meredith thinks, that's weird. Why did he stop talking? Did he hit his head when he fell? Unsure of what to do, Meredith's mind starts racing. What do I do? What do I do? How do you fix a human who's gone stupid? As the thought of human flesh crosses her mind again, she starts to drool. Maybe I should just eat him? Haha. Suddenly, he speaks. Meredith, did you just say you want to become human? She blinks at him. Yes. Relieved that she hasn't been accused of turning a normal person into an idiot, she thinks happily, yay, the human can talk again. The knight lets out a faint smirk. He makes Meredith an interesting offer. My name is Lion. I'm a knight. How about I teach you how to become human? Inside the border town, sunlight illuminates everything. The calls of merchants hawking their wares blend together, creating the lively atmosphere of the local market. Come get your roasted sweet potatoes. Fresh, sweet, and fragrant. Special discount. Only 5 coppers. Buy yourself a set of monster-proof armor and never worry about being attacked again. Meredith, experiencing the bustling life of humans for the first time, is in awe of the lively market. Whoa, this is amazing. Is this a human town? She asks with a mix of excitement and curiosity. Just as a merchant offers her a taste of his freshly baked, still-warm pastries. What do you think, miss? A soldier sent to find Meredith spots her. He calls out to Lion. Sir Lion, she's over there. It seems human food doesn't agree with her. After one bite, she promptly throws it all up. Human food is so gross, she thinks. The young merchant, seeing his family's treasured recipe have this effect on someone, cries out in disbelief. No! This can't be happening! Meanwhile, Lion, who had been rushing all over town to find her, thinks to himself, she agreed to a complete stranger's offer. How about I teach you how to be human? Without a second thought. Sure, she said. Just like that. To agree so quickly. I knew this wouldn't be simple. Suddenly, a potato flies through the air, nearly hitting Lion square in the face. He manages to dodge it just in time. Unfortunately, the young soldier with him isn't so lucky. Seeing the painful-looking impact, Lion thinks, that was a close call. Terrifying. Back with Meredith, she's now at a stall selling shields to freelance soldiers. The shop owner is enthusiastically pitching to her. Looking for a weapon, miss? This shield is made from the back scales of an Emsta monster. Seeing as you're using monster wings as accessories, you must be knowledgeable about weapons. Look, this shield is even harder than... Before he can finish, Meredith snaps the shield in half with one hand, without exerting the slightest effort. Oops, it broke, she says, still as innocent as ever. The shop owner can only stand there, completely dumbfounded. Bored with the flimsy human toy, Meredith tosses the broken shield aside without a second thought. Once again, Lion successfully dodges the surprise projectile, but the damage continues to pile up on his subordinates. Fed up with Meredith's reckless behavior, he yells, "That's enough!" Catching up to her as she continues to explore the market, he grabs her by the shoulder. Got you. This time, she's at a medicine stall where a female merchant is hawking her wares. Without a word, Meredith grabs a bottle, most likely without reading the label, and chugs it. The young merchant cries out in shock, "Hey, that's my medicine!" In his haste, Lion trips and tumbles toward Meredith, landing right on top of her. Their eyes meet. Meredith is too surprised to react to what's happening. Huh? She asks, a dazed look on her face. They're both on the ground now. Faced with Meredith's beauty up close, Lion's eyes go wide. He flushes and scrambles off of her. Why isn't she moving? He wonders. She was running so fast just a second ago. Seeing Lion had accidentally fallen on her, Meredith isn't embarrassed at all. Instead, she's worried about him. Humans seem so fragile. Lion, are you okay? Being asked so sweetly in front of everyone makes Lion's face turn beet red. He stammers, "You're the one who should be asking if you're okay." Out of nowhere, a portly lord appears and starts mocking Lion. Well, well, if it isn't Sir Lion? I could die laughing. Sir Lion getting so greedy at the sight of a pretty girl? How utterly shameless. Meredith's eyes immediately lock onto the glowing gem on his hat. Her eyes light up, zeroing in on her target. In a flash, Meredith zips over to the lord, snatches the hat from his head, and sends his wig flying off with it. Holding the hat triumphantly, Meredith exclaims, "A treasure!" Meanwhile, the bald lord is so furious he's speechless. He can only mumble, "My hair," as he stews over Meredith's actions. With a single move, she had exposed his bald head to the entire town. The crowd erupts in laughter. Look, isn't that Baron Howard? This is even more interesting than what happened before. Furious that his deepest secret has been revealed to everyone, he raises his hand to strike Meredith, roaring, "You little brat! I'll teach you! You're dead!" Just in time, Lion grabs his hand, stopping him. "Isn't this the Lord? I apologize on her behalf." Standing next to Lion, Meredith catches his scent and instinctively nuzzles against him. "Lion, you smell so good," she says happily. Lion, however, finds this incredibly uncomfortable. He pushes her away, saying, "Don't touch me with that dirty hat. And besides, I haven't even dealt with you for what you did earlier." Seeing Lion apologize for the mysterious girl, Warren can't hide his curiosity. "Sir Lion, who is this lively young lady?" One second, Lion is acting like he can't stand Meredith, and the next, he's scooping her up into his arms and taunting the lord. "I'll trouble you, my lord, to check and see if she is a resident of this town." Internally, he's thinking, "I can't let her keep running around. The only way is to hold her." Warren, his head shining like a light bulb, breaks into a sweat and forces a laugh. Of course, but she's so beautiful. If she were from this town, I'm sure I would have remembered her." Lion cuts him off. "Just confirm whether she is or not and report back to me." "Understood, understood," Warren replies nervously. Outwardly, Lion responds coolly, "Good, you may go." But inside, he's screaming, "I need to take a bath and change into clean clothes, now." As Lord Warren puts his silky wig and hat back on, he asks confused, "Go where?" Lion hints at his demand. "If you're so hospitable as to let me stay in your manor, I assume you wouldn't mind arranging a room for one more girl?" Lord Warren's face beams with a welcoming smile. Of course, of course." But while he's smiling, in his heart he's cursing Lion's entire family tree. "If you weren't here on a royal decree, I wouldn't even bother with you." Meredith wraps her arms tightly around Lion's neck and cheers, "Meredith likes being held by you." Lion, though furious, reminds her, "Don't let them see your wings." A brilliant sunset and a flock of seagulls soaring across the vast sky paint a magnificent backdrop for Warren Howard's enormous mansion. Lion carries Meredith princess style, leading the way down a long red carpet in the grand hall. Following behind are Lord Warren and his butler. "Welcome home, Sir Lion Master," the maids greet in unison. Meredith fiddles with the ornament she took from the hat, so focused on it that she doesn't notice how her beauty makes the room feel like it's blossoming into spring. The maids seem to have noticed something. "What is that? Are those wings?" one of them whispers in shock. Lion overhears and cuts her off. "It's a fake accessory," he clarifies. Hearing this, Meredith immediately gets angry and yells at Lion, "They're not fake! Meredith's wings are real!" Lion gently sets Meredith down and replies dismissively, Right, they're real." He signals to the maid and covers up the truth, saying, "Keep an eye on her. I have to go change. Her brain is a little—" The maid is taken aback. "What? So she's not all there in the head," she thinks in shock. The bathroom is decorated with flickering candles and a large, gold-leafed, ornately carved wooden mirror, exuding an air of nobility and luxury. Lion strips off his outer layers, revealing a set of firm six-pack abs as he prepares to wash up. But he can't stop worrying about Meredith. Leaving that troublemaker with them for a bit should be fine, right? He removes his last layer of clothing and lets it fall to the floor. He gently steps into the tub, which is filled with water warmed by the sun, and begins to soak. Suddenly, Meredith bursts in, shouting cheerfully, "Lion!" He jolts upright, completely baffled by her actions. He frantically tries to cover his perfect body with his hands and shouts even louder than she did. "What are you doing in here?" Meredith asks innocently. "When are you going to teach me how to be human?" He slams his hand on the water, sending a splash everywhere. "Can't you see I'm taking a bath?" Meredith pays no mind to his anger, simply saying, "Oh." Lion is speechless. She runs over to the side of the tub, places her hands on the edge, and asks again, So when can you teach me how to be human? Lion jumps. Why are you still here? He shrieks. He wants to cover his face, helpless against Meredith's boldness. Have you no shame? Meredith doesn't understand what he means. What's that? Lion's helplessness turns into a messy mix of embarrassment and anger. A normal person doesn't just barge in when someone else is bathing. It's like a light bulb goes off for Meredith. She pumps her fist in the air excitedly. Oh! He stands up from the tub, completely naked, and glares at her. Now that you know, are you going to turn around or not? Meredith is completely confused by his request. Why do I have to turn around? Because I'm getting dressed, Lion explains. She's still puzzled. Why do I have to leave just because you're getting dressed? As he gets dressed, he patiently replies, because men and women are different. Meredith turns her back to him as requested, but still doesn't understand why. She blinks her big, innocent eyes and continues to ask, why Lion? Lion, at his wit's end, covers her mouth. Just know that bathing and getting dressed are private. That's all you need to know. He groans internally. This kid asks way too many questions. Meredith grabs the hand covering her mouth, pulls it away, and gives him a sweet smile. Meredith gets it now. You can only be alone when you bathe and get dressed. To her surprise, he starts pushing her out the door. Humans go back to their rooms to sleep at night, he says. To make sure she cooperates and doesn't bother him again, he adds, go to sleep. I'll teach you something else tomorrow. The book-filled study feels even gloomier in the pitch-black night. Lord Warren breaks the heavy silence. I've cross-referenced the faces of all 18 missing girls. None of them are her. The long table in the room is cluttered with pictures of the missing girls. A faint, weak light from the window illuminates a small corner of the dark room. Lion, sitting behind the large desk, asks about the case. Besides these 18 girls, have you investigated other disappearances? We've checked them all, but there's nothing, Warren replies respectfully. Lion silently looks at the pictures of the missing girls, his mind drifting. He remembers the heart-wrenching screams of a mother who couldn't find her child. My poor daughter. He recalls the villagers gathering in front of the unfortunate woman's house, whispering amongst themselves, that's the 18th girl to go missing. Bordertown is situated right where the human lands meet the monster forest. Occasionally, small monsters would sneak in, and the brave villagers would fight them off with bows and arrows. But it seemed these recent disappearances weren't caused by monsters. No one thought a monster was the culprit. Rumors were spreading like wildfire through the village. It's gotta be some kind of cannibalistic freak. Someone else claimed, I saw it with my own eyes. Someone definitely took her. The strange rumors spread with incredible speed, eventually reaching the royal palace. The queen has tasked me with thoroughly investigating this matter. Lion can't help but be suspicious of Meredith. Could she be connected to the case the queen assigned to me? She's not from this town, claims she's not human, has strange wings, and wants to eat people on sight. Lion stands up, gathers all the portraits of the missing girls from the table, and says to Warren, I'm taking these with me. I'll reconfirm tomorrow. Thank you for your trouble, Baron. Warren gives a slight bow. It's my duty. Lion strides across the magnificent mansion grounds back to his room. He pushes the door open and freezes on the spot. Meredith is sitting comfortably on the bed that should have been his. Seemingly unaware of Lion's irritation, she greets him cheerfully. Lion, you're back! Lion can no longer maintain his cool demeanor. Why are you in my room? He yells. She's running wild again, he thinks, exhausted. The servants can't keep an eye on this kid at all. She playfully places a finger on her lips and kindly explains her presence. Because I smelled Lion's scent in this room. Lion feels helpless. Are you a dog? Your nose is that good. Meredith complains, pouting. I can't sleep without my treasures. Where are your treasures? Lion asks. Meredith sticks out her lower lip, looking very annoyed. I left them in the forest. Lion draws the sword at his hip and offers it to her. You can borrow this for now, but you're not allowed to take out the gem. She takes the sword but doesn't look happy at all. She just stares at it gloomily. Seeing this, Lion's temper flares. She looks up at him with teary, shimmering eyes, putting on a pitiful expression. I can't sleep with just one gem. Lion squeezes his eyes shut and turns away, saying firmly, making that sad face won't work. I don't care. In the end, he caves. He dumps a pile of colorful gemstones onto the bed. Meredith immediately leaps onto the bed with joy, hugging the pile of sparkling jewels. Treasures! Lion shakes his head, exasperated. Can you sleep now? No, it's too noisy. She immediately objects. Noisy? I don't hear anything, he says, confused. There are clearly a lot of noises, she insists. Then cover your ears with a pillow, he says, not really paying attention. She presses 2 pillows tightly against her ears but can't block out the sounds. I can still hear them? the sound of thousands of stars lighting up the dark, silent night sky. Inside the bright, warm room, Meredith is describing what she hears to Lion. I hear someone saying they want to eat him all up, so humans can eat other humans? As if she'd heard a completely new word, Meredith asks Lion, what does this word mean? Hearing the extremely rated word, Lion immediately clamps his hands over Meredith's ears, stopping her from hearing any more of the dark conversation. Don't listen! The noisy chatter suddenly disappears when Lion covers her ears. I can't hear it anymore, she says, surprised. Time seems to stand still in that moment, and Lion finds himself lost in Meredith's eyes. He sees the hopeful expectation in her sparkling gaze and quickly shuts down the thought. No, absolutely not. Don't expect me to cover your ears all night. Meredith just stares at him without a word. And then, Lion caves. He lies down next to her and covers her ears. You can sleep now, he says, silently vowing. This will absolutely never happen again. Lion's hands are so warm. Meredith drifts off to sleep in the comforting warmth. Lion watches her sleep soundly and can't help but think about how cute she is. Like a little clingy animal. Meredith's sleepy eyes flutter open and look at him. Lion's cheeks immediately flush red as their eyes meet at such a close distance. Meredith softly calls his name. Lion. The distance between them seems to shrink. Meredith murmurs, Lion, can you press a little tighter? She points to the hands covering her ears. So that's what she wanted to say, Lion tells himself, embarrassed. And here I was thinking she wanted to... He presses his hands down more firmly. I know, now go to sleep, I'm losing my mind. Lion scolds himself. What on earth am I thinking? Meredith looks at Lion and thinks, Lion is completely different from the others. She studies the sleeping man beside her. He smells so good, and he's so warm. The more she looks, the harder it is to look away. I like him so much, she thinks excitedly. The bright morning sun signals a new day, flooding the room with light. Meredith is woken up by loud noises. Ugh, so noisy, she groans. She turns and gets out of bed. When she opens the door, a maid is already waiting for her. Miss Meredith, you're awake, she says with a bow. Where's Lion? Meredith asks. Sir Lion had to go out on business, the maid replies politely. He said for you to wait for him to return. Oh, she says softly, acknowledging the message. A handsome but incredibly arrogant-looking man is watching Meredith with interest. This is Vincent Howard. Whoa, since when did we have such a beautiful woman in this mansion? He says excitedly. The servant behind him is sweating nervously. The Baron has ordered that no one is to touch Sir Lion's guest, she reminds him with a dark expression. Vincent scoffs at the name. Lion again. Vincent shamelessly caresses Meredith's beautiful face and calls her name. Meredith grabs his hand and pulls him closer. With a look of terror on his face, Vincent yelps, What are you doing? The sound of a stomach rumbling breaks the tense atmosphere. Meredith stares intently at Vincent, thinking, I'm so hungry. I really want to eat this human. Vincent gives her a teasing look, then tries to entice her. How about I take you out for some delicious food? I guarantee you'll eat until you're stuffed. A scent distracts Meredith. She lets go of Vincent and dashes off, leaving him utterly bewildered by her sudden action. Hey, where are you going? He calls after her. Meredith runs like the wind, following the enticing aroma. Vincent is left breathless trying to catch up. He has to stop to catch his breath. How can she run so fast? I'm exhausted. Stay still, Meredith yells. I'll eat you all in one go. I promise it won't hurt. She then pounces on a small monster, startling it into breathing fire. Vincent, witnessing this bizarre scene, shouts in alarm, My little monster! He pulls on the monster's chain, trying to drag it back toward him while stammering at Meredith. You, let go of my pet. Meredith stubbornly clings to the monster's neck, yelling back at Vincent, No way! This is clearly Meredith's little monster. The tug of war between them makes Vincent's pet's eyes roll back into its head as it starts foaming at the mouth. It looks like it's about to be killed by both of them before Meredith even gets a chance to eat it. The door bursts open. A stone-faced lion walks in, followed by Warren, whose face is a mask of disbelief at the scene before him. Seeing the utter devastation they've wrought upon his luxurious mansion, Warren wails, What happened to my manor? Vincent and Meredith freeze. Vincent's poor pet slumps to the floor, finally released. The monster hastily takes flight as if escaping from the clutches of a demon. Vincent rushes after it. Lion's voice is tense. You had better have a good explanation. Meredith fidgets with her fingers, looking troubled. Meredith is hungry. Does Lion have any tasty food in his bag? He opens the bag he's holding and explains, These are monster crystals. You can't eat them. Meredith ignores him, grabs a crystal, and takes a bite. Then, to Lion's utter astonishment, she starts happily munching on them. She's actually eating it, he thinks. Crystals don't appear in low-level monsters. Mid- and high-level monsters use these crystals to change their forms. After careful processing, crystals can be an important source of energy. Lion can practically see the gold coins he's losing as Meredith devours the crystals. A single crystal is worth 500 gold coins, he says, resigned. You sure know how to pick your food. Lion begins to lecture Meredith about her destructive behavior. Even if you're hungry, you can't just wreck someone's mansion like this. Think about it. If someone destroyed your treasures, would you be happy? The gravity of the situation hits her instantly. Meredith's treasures? She gasps. Lion sighs and continues his lesson. A human's private property, like their house, is their treasure. What should I do? What should I do? Meredith asks, worried. Since he started the lecture, Lion decides to see it through. You should apologize to them, shouldn't you? Filled with remorse, Meredith takes out a small, exquisite stone she had kept hidden. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have damaged your treasure, but this little rock is all I have. Warren's eyes light up like stars. He snatches the stone and shouts with glee, Oh my heavens, this is a black dragon crystal. Monster crystals are expensive, but not rare. Lion thinks, suspicious. Dragon crystals are a different story. You can't buy them even if you have the money. How does she have a dragon crystal? Lion gently wipes the crystal crumbs from the corner of Meredith's mouth. Do you know that the dragon crystal you just gave Baron Howard is worth more than his entire mansion? So that little rock is called a dragon crystal, she replies. What's money? Lion hesitates. Money is... He searches his mental dictionary but can't find a suitable definition. Anyway, dragon crystals are very valuable. If you regret it, I can help you get it back. She waves her hand dismissively. That shiny black dragon crystal isn't as good as Lion's treasures. It's fine to give it to him. Lion is speechless at her logic. He asks her softly, Do you know that humans have to listen to their guardians? Right now, I'm your guardian. So, Meredith quickly chimes in. So Meredith has to listen to Lion. Exactly, he replies, satisfied. So you will stay in your room and eat your food. You are not to go out without my permission, understand? Meredith beams. Yes, understood. This troublemaking kid is surprisingly easy to trick, Lion thinks with satisfaction. Meredith happily returns to her room. As she eats her delicious food, she thinks excitedly, with Lion guiding me, I'll definitely learn how to be human in no time. The sound of a commotion and the flickering of flames outside the door catch Meredith's attention. Is something on fire? She wonders. She ignores it and continues to eat. But Lion said I can't go out without permission, she reminds herself. The fire grows larger. Why did it suddenly catch on fire? A maid screams in panic. Quick, bring water! A male servant yells. Lion startles. Damn it, Meredith is still inside! He rushes up to the room, calling her name. Meredith. She looks over at him. Lion? She asks, surprised. Sitting in a sea of flames, she opens her arms to him and says cheerfully, You're back. Don't be scared, I'll get you out of here right now, he reassures her. He silently blames himself. Damn it, this is all my fault. I'm the one who told her to stay here. Scared of what? She asks, confused. Large chunks of the ceiling begin to fall. This is bad, he thinks, lunging toward her. The debris is falling right where she's sitting, but she seems completely unaware of the danger. Meredith, watch out, he yells as he dives to protect her. He braces himself, shielding her with his body just before the debris hits. Crash! The sound is deafening, but Lion doesn't feel the pain he expected. That's strange. He looks up to see Meredith holding up the massive chunks of ceiling with one hand. Meredith! He exclaims in shock. Oh! Meredith pulls Lion to his feet and starts running. Lion, let's get out of here. It's dangerous. Lion can't believe his eyes. Your hand? He asks. They escape the room just as it completely collapses. Lion chokes on the smoke, coughing uncontrollably. Lion! Lion! Are you okay? Meredith asks, worried. From a distance, Warren and the servants come running. Sir Lion is out! They shout with relief. Lion stops coughing and grabs Meredith's hand. Let me see your hand, he insists. What's wrong with my hand? She asks, bewildered. Lion examines her hand carefully. It's a bit dirty from the ash, but miraculously there isn't a single scratch on it. She's not hurt, he thinks, stunned. Vincent's pet flies towards them, its sharp teeth bared hungrily. Vincent is still chasing after it, yelling, Quick! Don't let my baby get away! Lion draws his sword and in front of a horrified Vincent slays the pet. This won't happen again, he warns. I know, Vincent stammers, trembling. Lord Warren starts smacking his son repeatedly to vent his anger. I told you not to keep monsters in the mansion, but you never listen. Stop hitting me! Stop it, Dad! I know I was wrong! Vincent cries, trying to block the blows. Lion watches the scene and thinks to himself, bringing a monster home to raise should be severely punished. But, considering I brought Meredith home, I'm in no position to talk. Back in the room, Lion says angrily, stop hiding under the table. Get out here. Meredith doesn't like water. Meredith doesn't want a bath. She refuses. Just then, she spots a crumpled piece of paper under the table. What's this? Lion startles. That's, he shouts, trying to stop her. But Meredith is faster. She grabs the paper and unfolds it. The letter I was going to send to the Queen. He finishes, swallowing his words. His voice turns grim. Fine. Since you've seen it, I won't hide it from you anymore. His voice is devoid of any warmth. Monsters are the same as wild beasts. Lion continues coldly. No, at least wild beasts can understand emotion. Monsters only know their hunger for food. Lion, Meredith says softly, walking towards him. He cuts her off. So I recommended to the Queen that it's better to kill an innocent one by mistake. His words are cut short as she throws herself at him, hugging him tightly. Meredith was so happy when Lion hugged her. Is Meredith happy now? She asks excitedly. He blushes at the intimate contact. He turns his face away, embarrassed. Weren't you unable to read people's expressions before? How did you know I was unhappy? When Lion was talking, his face looked sad. She explains. Aren't you disappointed in me? Lion asks. Why would I be disappointed? She asks back, confused. Her eyes light up as she looks at the paper again. Lion, this looks like a bunch of ants crawling around. He freezes. You had me worried sick for nothing. Turns out she can't even read. This is a letter, he explains kindly. Humans write down the words they want to say on it and then send it to someone far away. He thinks to himself, good thing she can't read. Someone far away? She asks. Her expression turns distant as if remembering someone. A woman from her faint memories. She shakes it off and says cheerfully, Lion, I want to write a letter. You should probably learn how to read first, he replies. Sit down, I'll teach you how to write your name. In the lavish royal palace, a servant presents a letter. Your Majesty, a letter from Sir Lion. The Queen, a beautiful woman with silver hair, is engrossed in her work. Without looking up, she asks, what does he say? Sir Lion reports that he has found nothing yet and requires more time, the servant summarizes. The Queen suddenly reaches out and pulls the maidservant towards her. Your Majesty, the maid exclaims, flustered. The Queen holds the maidservant close and whispers in her ear. Lion is set to inherit the title of the youngest duke in the empire. He's become too obsessed with this dragon hunt of his. The maidservant breathes heavily, blushing. The Queen caresses her warm face. What did the church send you for yesterday? The church hopes to select a new pope from among the 10 archbishops, the maid whispers. The Queen's face darkens with anger. Insolent! Do those men think they can climb over the head of the royal family and become the new masters of this kingdom? She roars at the terrified maid. This kingdom needs a sharp sword right now. She commands the maid. Reply to Lion. If he has no results in 3 days, he is to return to the capital immediately. Meanwhile, Meredith is looking around, asking Vincent, didn't you say Lion was waiting for me? Where is he? Vincent grins slyly. Almost there. He thinks to himself smugly, I hired these guys myself this time. Let's see you run now. 2 thugs are hiding behind a gate, waiting for Meredith to walk by. The place is so lively, Lion must be there, Meredith says excitedly. With that, she grabs Vincent and dashes toward the crowd, sending the 2 thugs flying. Their screams are swallowed by the noise of the crowd. Let go of me, I can walk by myself, Vincent snaps. The constant chatter of the crowd about the church. I wonder who it is. This is great. The church finally sent someone. Makes Meredith extremely curious. She keeps jumping up and down to get a better look at what's happening up ahead. Stop looking, it's just people from the church, Vincent says dismissively. The church? Meredith repeats. The kingdom is unstable because of those crazy fanatics, he replies. Suddenly, a scream draws everyone's attention to a tall building. Look! A young boy has fallen from a window and is clinging desperately to the ledge. Quick! Grab Mommy's hand! His terrified mother screams. The crowd below watches in horror. Mommy, I'm scared. Wah! The boy sobs. What do we do? A fall from that height would be fatal. The people shout in panic. The boy's hand slips. Mommy! He screams instinctively. In a flash, Meredith flies up and catches the boy. Hey, gotcha! She says cheerfully to the boy in her arms. She then lands gently on the roof of a carriage. The carriage driver is furious. He points at her and the boy. Dare you jump onto the archbishop's carriage? He bellows. Those who profane the divine shall be punished. But I had to get on the carriage to save the boy. Meredith says, confused. Are you trying to get us killed? Another of the guards shouts. Meredith stammers. A voice cuts her off. She saved the child. Roland, one of the 10 archbishops, speaks kindly. The divine does not punish such trivial matters. The crowd murmurs. I can't believe it's Archbishop Roland. If Archbishop Roland says so, then... Meredith looks at Roland with sparkling eyes, unable to hide her desire. A glowing treasure? She cheers silently. What is your name? Roland asks. Meredith, she replies instantly. Oh, what a lovely name, he praises. Why does that have a crack in it? Meredith asks abruptly. Roland replies, confused. He glances at the scepter in his hand, then smiles. Perhaps it's because of you, but I haven't even touched it. Meredith jumps up, denying it. In any case, it's best not to let anyone else know or there will be big trouble, Roland advises, ignoring her denial. He gently takes her hand. I think we could be friends. Would you like to have some tea with me? Meredith imagines 2 beautiful, sparkling teacups. Have tea right now? She asks to confirm. From the crowd, Lion pushes through, shouting, Wait! Lion! Meredith exclaims, surprised. She runs to him, overjoyed. Lion, I just saved someone. He pats her head fondly. Yes, Meredith did a great job. Sir Lion, Roland says, breaking the sweet atmosphere between them. Lion stands protectively in front of Meredith, his expression unfriendly. Archbishop Roland, where are you taking her? I just want to befriend her and have a chat, Roland replies. He narrows his eyes, looking at them both with a dark intensity. She has the freedom to make her own friends, does she not? Lion stares back at Roland with cold eyes but says nothing. He turns to Meredith, his brow furrowed. Meredith, you choose. Are you going with him or with me? Not to be outdone, Roland gently points to the sparkling, priceless turquoise gems on his robe. You like the gems on my robe, don't you? I can give them to you. Meredith's eyes go wide with surprise and delight at the sight of the sparkling gems. Her face blossoms with excitement. Lion, let's go have tea together. I can get gems. But Lion just replies coolly, I have things to do. If you want to go, you'll have to go alone. Meredith seems a little disappointed, but still takes his arm. Okay. She turns to Roland. We have to wait for Lion to finish his work before we can have tea together. Roland smiles. I understand. He turns to Lion. Sir Lion, you're busy with the case of the missing girls, aren't you? The church is also very concerned about this matter. The empire is ruled by the royal family, Lion replies sternly. So the church sent Archbishop Roland to investigate the royal family? The crowd thinks, this is big. They're arguing. Are we going to be able to take them down? Meredith, still not understanding what's going on, clings to Lion's arm in confusion. From the crowd, Warren's voice booms, making everyone turn. Show's over, nothing to see here. Show's over, clear the way. He speaks seriously to Roland. Sir Lion is right. The royal family has already sent Sir Lion to investigate this thoroughly, so the church need not trouble itself. Roland turns to leave, then looks back. Then I'll be on my way. If Meredith gets lonely, she can find me. I'm staying at the church in the east. Meredith's head is spinning. Church, cathedral, it's so complicated. Lion, what exactly does the word teach mean? Lion, a cold, dark aura around him, asks her, Meredith, do you know about dragons? He imagines a ferocious dragon attacking people. Their terrified pleas for help. Help me! Ah, run! The dragon is here. He continues. Dragons rampage through the kingdom, but the church considered them an object of faith. However, 10 years ago, the royal family gathered warriors to exterminate the dragons. There are no more dragons in this world. I see. Meredith replies. Let's go, Lion says, turning to leave. Meredith follows behind him. Under a clear blue sky outside the gates of a large mansion, Lion and Meredith stand. I thought we were going back to the other place, Meredith says, surprised. The old place burned down, so we'll be staying here, he replies. Inside the lavish, magnificent mansion, exquisitely decorated in shades of blue, it's clear at a glance that this is a luxurious and expensive home. Meredith is fascinated. She flies up to a sparkling chandelier, exclaiming, So many gems! As expected, she just likes shiny things, Lion thinks. He continues his internal monologue. The queen ordered me to return to the capital within 3 days, but with Roland's appearance, she'll definitely change her mind and come back to town. Meredith flops onto the large, soft bed, rolling around. You can't hear any sounds from outside in this room. It's amazing. Lion pushes the door open. That's because the walls are fitted with soundproofing crystals. Meredith suddenly sits up. Can Meredith live here from now on? Lion crosses his arms, replying nonchalantly, Sure, consider it your home. Meredith is overjoyed. She jumps up and down, cheering, Meredith has a home now! But then a confused look crosses her face. Wait, what's a home? Lion is at a loss for words. Meredith starts rummaging through a chest next to the bed. It's a big treasure chest. It can fit Meredith. Lion looks at her, thinking, I still can't completely trust her. But then, he remembers his own childhood. A girl with platinum blonde hair saying to him, I'm so jealous of you, Lion. I want a home, too. Meredith throws herself into his arms with pure, unadulterated joy. Meredith really likes having a home. I don't remember her face clearly, Lion thinks, but she didn't have wings, so it probably wasn't Meredith. Meredith, this is your first task in learning how to be human. Spending money, Lion says. He holds up a gold coin in front of her. So, are you confident you can complete it? Meredith's eyes sparkle as she stares at the gold coin. She takes it, holds it up high, and declares excitedly, Meredith will complete it, in a flash. A flock of doves soars into the clear blue sky. Down in the small town, Meredith stands forlornly in front of a vegetable stall. The vendor looks just as bewildered, unsure of what's happening. Meredith sadly and carefully clutches the gold coin in her hand, thinking, I have to give away my treasure. Spending money is so scary. Lion is watching from behind a nearby wall, a little worried. I knew it, he says to himself. She's been standing there for half an hour without moving. Then his brow furrows as he takes in the situation. The female vendor is speaking to Meredith. I'm truly grateful that you saved my son, but I'm sorry, please leave, I can't sell you anything. Oh, Meredith says softly, not understanding what's happening. Passers-by start to point and whisper, scolding Meredith. Hey, have you no sense of decency? Do you think just because Archbishop Roland forgave you, everyone else will too? One man in the crowd points directly at Meredith and shouts in her face, You must have brought this bad luck. My leg has been aching for no reason lately. Then you don't need that leg anymore, Meredith replies, momentarily silencing the man. But he's not one to back down. I knew it. That guy Lion from the Capitol and you are both useless. A spray of blood flies through the air. Slash! The man screams in pain. The man who was so aggressive just a moment ago is now clutching his hand, trembling in fear. Meredith wipes a smear of blood from her lips. Her voice is ice cold. You are not allowed to speak ill of Lion. You can't say bad things about Lion, Meredith says angrily to the man. I'll say what I want, the man retorts, still trying to sound tough. What are you gonna do? Bite me again? I don't plan on eating you, Meredith says calmly, which makes the man's face turn pale with fear. Suddenly, a hideous black monster with sharp teeth lunges at Meredith at lightning speed, taking her completely by surprise. Before she can even react, she hears people screaming, Monsters are in the city! Everyone, run! A hand grabs her by the waist, pulling her out of the monster's path just in time. Simultaneously, a blade flashes over the monster's head. Meredith can only let out a startled, Hey! She finds herself in the arms of a super cool lion. He holds his sword high and yells to the crowd, Everyone, find the nearest shelter and hide! Being saved by Lion makes Meredith feel excited and happy. Lion! She calls out his name. Don't run around outside! He continues to shout to the others. Ferocious monsters dive down from above, sending the crowd into a panic. Monsters are in the city! Run! Help me! The monsters are eating people! Lion holds Meredith and runs, telling her, Stay with me for now. When I tell you to run, you run inside, got it? He then swings his sword, slicing the monster chasing them in half. With a determined look in his eyes, he tells her, Now, run. When he turns back to look at her, his face contorts with worry. Meredith! He yells. Meredith is riding on the back of a huge, ferocious monster, struggling with it and biting its neck. You're not allowed to eat humans, she shouts. Lion is utterly stunned by the scene. The man who had been yelling at Meredith earlier is now trembling before a monster with sharp, drooling teeth. Help me! I don't want to die! He shrieks. To Lion's surprise, Meredith grabs his sword. As she rushes forward, she says, Lion, let me borrow your sword for a bit. She launches herself into the air. Swoosh! The blade slices into the vicious monster. Its green blood sprays out. Meredith lands perfectly, and the crowd gasps in unison. Amazing! Lion frowns. Meredith! She runs back to him with the sword. Lion, look! Meredith knows how to use a weapon now. Lion's face darkens. The one who attacked me in the forest that day. It really was you. I was just trying to save you. Really, I was. Meredith waves her hands frantically, afraid he'll misunderstand. Lion's head is bowed, his hair hiding his face, making it impossible to read his expression. In the forest back then, it was clearly a magical attack. So you have magic. Then what exactly are you? He falls into a deep, cold thought. Before, I couldn't be sure of her identity. A monster, Meredith shouts cheerfully. Lion lets out a sigh of relief, as if a great weight has been lifted. Thank goodness, she's just a monster. Lion speaks to Meredith seriously. Humans are more complicated than you think. Even though I'm protecting you, they might still harm you just because you're special. Lion won't harm me, Meredith replies with conviction. Lion puts his arm around her shoulder. Don't tell anyone else you're a monster, especially not about the magic. As Meredith is still trying to process this, Warren comes running from a distance. Sir Lion! Then another voice cuts in. It seems the matter is concluded. Roland has arrived. Meredith, was this your doing? He asks. Meredith isn't that amazing, she replies, a bit shy and flustered. Seeing this, Lion quickly steps in front of Meredith and confronts Roland coldly. Roland, does the church think I can't handle a few monsters on my own? Roland just gives a seemingly friendly smile. Of course not. Lion turns to the subordinates behind Roland and says with authority, You two, escort the Archbishop back. He thinks, I've had enough trouble. He then turns to Meredith. Meredith, you go home too. But, Meredith says quickly, then lowers her head. Okay. As she turns to leave, she hears a village girl approach Lion and say softly, Sir Lion, thank you. In the small town, passers-by are gossiping. I never thought this little town would surprise me. First, the unexpected magic you mentioned definitely wasn't Lion's, but the girl he brought back with him. Oh, I've never heard of him having such a hobby. Roland carefully holds his scepter. The first time I met that girl, the dragon chain on my scepter cracked. Today, when I met her again, it shattered completely. A figure in a crystal ball, whose face is unclear, asks Roland, You're saying you use the scepter's magical senses? Yes, Roland replies. Hard to imagine, the figure says after a pause. I will find a way to hide this from the church, Roland says calmly. I'll see her again in 2 days and check. The purple crystal ball returns to its normal state. A hand pushes a door open. Creak. Meredith tiptoes into the room. Lion is lying on the bed but is still awake. What is she doing in my room? He thinks. Meredith yanks the blanket off of Lion, scaring him half to death. He jolts upright, confused. Meredith stares at his feet, now exposed. If I pull his feet off the bed, Lion will definitely fall, she thinks. She then runs off to find pillows, mumbling, Pillows, get pillows! Lion sits on the bed, feeling a bit helpless. When Meredith returns, she finds Lion already lying on the floor. She's holding a stack of pillows that reaches over her head. Huh? Why is Lion on the floor already? Lion lies perfectly still on the floor, pretending to be asleep. It's best to fake sleep and see what she wants to do. Meredith does something completely unexpected. She grabs one of his legs and starts dragging him across the floor. She happily drags him to the chest next to the bed. Then she effortlessly opens the chest, tosses him inside as if he weighs nothing, and says, Open. She then seriously places her hands on the lid. And then I just close the treasure chest. A second before the lid closes, Lion quickly sticks his arm out. Wait! He shouts. Meredith yelps, startled. Lion crawls out of the treasure chest, looking utterly pitiful. Did I do something to make you unhappy? Meredith wants to hide Lion in the treasure chest, she says loudly. She then confesses her sadness. Other humans can be with Lion anytime, but Meredith isn't human. Meredith can't. Is she jealous? Lion thinks. Lion says awkwardly, And here I thought it was because you didn't complete your mission. That's not it, she shouts, cutting him off. Meredith slumps to the floor, hugging her knees and hiding her face. Spending money is too hard. Meredith doesn't want to spend money, she says glumly. Right, Lion thinks, dazed. There are other, more difficult things too. Lion lifts Meredith up and comforts her softly. You saved the townspeople today, remember? He speaks gently to her. You did something that maybe even other people couldn't do. He gently places her on the bed. Now it's time to sleep. Meredith sits up, throws her arms around Lion, and demands, Meredith wants to be hugged by Lion. Lion wraps his arms around her and sighs. You're such a clingy kid. Is there anything Lion can't do? Meredith asks. Of course, he replies. When I was a kid, there was a type of glowing rose that was popular in the capital, but I tried to grow one for a year and it never bloomed. Lion continues his story. I was originally going to give it as a gift to someone. Glowing? Meredith asks, her interest piqued. Lion makes a suggestion. Meredith, want to do the second mission? What is it? What is it? She asks immediately. Lion's eyes gleam like gold coins. He says 2 words that weigh 1,000 pounds. Earn money. Hearing those words, Meredith's eyes sparkle as if she's seeing a mountain of gold. Lion tucks her in and instructs her. The monster invasion caused chaos in the town. Tomorrow we'll help everyone rebuild. While you're helping people, you can ask them how to earn money. Lion makes a promise. If you can earn money, I'll grant you 1 wish. The next morning, as the sun rises over the town, Meredith happily runs towards Lion. In the distance, a man asks quietly, "Was it really her who saved everyone? I heard from others that it was Sir Lion who killed all the monsters. I saw it with my own eyes, how could it be fake?" The person next to him whispers back. "But the others said," the man says, still not convinced. Roland appears. "That bow isn't tied very tightly," he says to Meredith. Meredith touches the bow in her hair and says nonchalantly, "Lion spent all morning tying it for me. Did it come loose already?" Rewind to that morning's struggle. Lion is clumsily trying to tie a cute yellow bow in Meredith's hair. He's so bad at it, he's practically pulling her hair out. "Lion, my head is so tight," she complains. "Let me try tying it a different way," he says, embarrassed. Roland chuckles. "Ha ha ha, let me help you tie a different bow." With skilled hands, Roland expertly ties a beautiful bow in Meredith's hair. She happily admires the result in a mirror. "How is it?" Roland asks kindly. "It's beautiful!" Meredith exclaims. Lion immediately scowls, staring daggers at Roland. Roland just smiles helplessly at him. "I understand. I'll keep my distance from her." "Lion, do you think the bow is pretty?" Meredith asks. Lion doesn't answer. He yanks the bow off her head. Then he presents a pink bow adorned with sparkling gemstones to her. "A treasure!" she gasps. Lion says with a hint of petulance. "You like shiny things, right? I guess you don't need this one anymore." Meredith excitedly clips the bow Lion gave her into her hair. "This one is even prettier than the butterfly bow from before." Lion smiles, watching her intently. "Right?" He then remembers something. "You've been busy all morning. Have you found a way to earn money yet?" She pulls out a coin she'd gotten. Meredith has already earned money. Lion looks at her, surprised. "That fast?" "And it's a gold coin." "Vincent gave it to me," Meredith shares excitedly. Behind her, a frantic Vincent runs up. "Why do you always run like you're being chased by a dog?" He bows respectfully to Lion. "Sir Lion?" "Vincent must not be able to sleep at night because it's too noisy," Meredith says earnestly. "But what should I do? If I accidentally cover Vincent's head too tightly, little monsters can come back to life without a brain. Can humans survive without a head?" Meanwhile, Vincent is desperately trying to signal her to stop. "Don't say any more." Lion looks at them with curious eyes. "What did Meredith do? I don't understand." She points at the panicking man behind her and explains innocently, "Vincent said he would give me a lot of gold coins if I slept with him." Lion's face immediately darkens. Seeing his threatening expression, Vincent's legs start to tremble and he backs away. "No, no, no, she's just kidding." Lion grabs him by the collar, hissing, What did you say to her? I was really just joking." Vincent cries, covering his face. Meredith pulls Vincent away and scolds, "No fighting." Vincent falls to the ground with a yelp. "Oh." He points at Lion and complains to her, "If he wants to hit me, you should pull him away, not me." Lion's face is still black. He raises his sword and holds it to Vincent's neck. "If Meredith wasn't here, I would have definitely broken your legs. Why don't you explain that to her?" Vincent retorts. Vincent takes back the gold coin, a bitter smile on his face. "Do you understand now? Even if it's a joke, you can't let people earn money like that." Meredith understands. She answers Lion. Lion sheathes his sword and orders Vincent, "Go. It's best if you don't come near Meredith again." "I understand," he replies, then leaves wearily. Lion pats Meredith's head. "I know you're sad. That coin doesn't count. Why don't you think of another way?" She looks down. "Okay." Suddenly, Meredith whips her head around. "The wall is about to collapse," she shouts to the workers. "What?" a worker asks, skeptical. The city wall begins to crack. Lion's pupils constrict. "What are you standing around for? Run!" he roars. He shields Meredith. As a shower of stones rains down with a series of crashes. "Is everyone okay?" Lion asks worriedly, looking around. Dust flies everywhere from the collapsing wall. "Luckily, the warning came in time, so no one was hurt," a worker says. Lion turns to Meredith. "How did you know the wall was about to collapse?" "I heard a noise," she explains. The workers look at the wall, dejected. "I was worried the monsters would take this opportunity to invade again, so I wanted to repair the wall quickly. Now that so much of it has collapsed, what do we do?" "Meredith can help!" She smiles brightly, her eyes full of hope. The workers look at the small girl with doubt. They chuckle and politely decline. "This is a man's job. How can a girl do it?" Immediately, Meredith shows them her strength. She lifts a boulder many times her own weight and asks, "Where does this go?" The workers' jaws drop in astonishment. The atmosphere suddenly becomes heavy. "Oh, I guess that's not right." Meredith accidentally breaks the stone cart. Lion and the workers break into a cold sweat. Suddenly, a worker recognizes her. "Is that you?" Meredith looks at him, confused. I just got back from the next town over yesterday. My wife told me a girl saved our son. Meredith immediately remembers the child. I remember, it was a little boy. The worker looks at her gratefully. Yes, yes. Lion looks at Meredith and says, you stay here and help everyone move the stones. He thinks to himself, when they're together, maybe more people will accept Meredith. Okay, she replies enthusiastically. Under the warm sun, Meredith helps everyone move stones. The worker from before turns to her. I've heard all about you. Don't pay any attention to what those jerks say. Abstract images flash through her mind. Chicken eggs, bird eggs, jerks. People were always afraid of dragons, and some were starting to worry. The worker continues his story. Meredith follows behind him, saying, Lion said there are no more dragons in this world. Another worker speaks up. Don't listen to him. People are afraid because there are no more dragons. The two workers start to argue. What do you know? Do you know how many people dragons have eaten? The other one doesn't back down. Everywhere outside the Empire is full of monsters. It's only because we lost the protection of the gods that they dared to invade. Meredith jumps in, placing a boulder between the two men. No arguing, she shouts. They both freeze. Okay. The worker still can't help but mumble. No matter what, monsters are the ones that should be exterminated. Should be exterminated? Lion says. I'm not like those monsters. Meredith looks up at him on the wall, still holding her basket of stones. The worker suddenly says, I'm sorry for being so harsh, but you must be careful not to offend the gods again. Something catches Lion's eye. He stands on the wall, his gaze soft as he looks at Meredith, his cloak billowing in the wind. She seems to feel the affection in his eyes. She smiles back. Meredith will definitely become human. As the sun sets, she runs to Lion, showing off her earnings. Lion, this is the money the uncles paid me for helping them with errands. I earned money. A worker wipes sweat from his brow but still smiles. There was too much work, so we just asked her to do a few small things. Another holds up his bandaged thumb. My hand was hurting. Meredith runs over and hugs Lion's arm. You can make a wish now. A wish? He doesn't refuse. All right, I'll keep my word. What do you want? She leans in and whispers in his ear. I want to go into the forest alone. Lion's expression changes instantly. No! Meredith looks at him, her voice firm. I promise I'll be back very quickly. Lion still doesn't trust her. Tell me first. What do you want to do in the forest? Meredith turns her back to him, sulking. Lion broke his promise. Lion stands behind the pouting Meredith, trying to coax her. How about we go into the forest together tomorrow, okay? She turns around, her hands clasped with his. I promise I'll only be a little while. Please agree. Lion unconsciously tightens his grip on her hand, his cheeks flushing as he avoids her gaze. I'll wait for you at the city gate. You can only go for half an hour. It's a deal, Meredith says happily. Outside the city gate, a worried Lion paces back and forth, his footprints crisscrossing the ground. I remember she said she left her treasures in the forest. She must want to go find them. It's okay. Meredith is very strong. Even high-level monsters are no match for her, he reassures himself. But Lion starts to lose his patience. He turns to run into the forest. I have to go find her. Suddenly he sees her returning. He calls her name and she hears him. Lion, I'm back, she calls out. She's holding a bouquet of roses, running eagerly towards him. Remembering their earlier conversation, I hope to give it to someone as a gift. Meredith seems to understand something. A gift? Now she stands before him with the bouquet in her hands, her face radiant. A gift for Lion. He's a little surprised. You went into the forest to pick glowing roses? Yes, she replies. Without waiting for his reaction, she throws her arms around him and says sincerely, Lion taught me how to be human. This is a gift. Lion blushes at a loss for words. Meredith looks at him, worried. Is Lion not happy? He avoids her gaze. Of course I'm very happy. He glances at her, stammering, but I promised to grant you a wish. Why did you? I was making a wish for myself, Meredith says simply. She hugs him again, expressing her feelings. If Lion is happy, Meredith is happy. Meredith likes Lion. His heart suddenly starts to race. He reaches up and touches her ear. She looks at him, confused. He uncontrollably leans in to kiss her, to her surprise, but in the end, he can't do it. Lion? Meredith asks, worried. He bows his head, his hand dropping to her shoulder, trying to excuse his actions. There was some dirt on your face. It's clean now. Thank you for the flowers. He takes the flowers she gave him, turns, and walks away coldly, but doesn't forget to add, It's getting dark. Let's go home. Meredith watches his retreating back, thinking, That's strange. Lion doesn't smell good anymore. Is he not happy? The next morning, outside the mansion, the sky is clear and blue. Meredith sits in the living room, bored. I think Lion went for a morning exercise, she wonders. Just then, Lion opens the door from outside and asks, "You're awake?" A thin layer of sweat still clings to him. Meredith is mesmerized, her eyes glued to Lion. Why do I feel like Lion looks more delicious than usual? He turns to go back to his room. Before he leaves, he tells Meredith, "Open the box on the table. There's a gift for you inside." She looks at him excitedly, then at the red box on the table. "A gift?" She opens it and exclaims with joy, "It's a new dress." Outside, Lion hears her reaction and smiles to himself. Lion returns to his room, taking off his shirt. He seems to have something on his mind. Underneath the shirt is a firm, well-defined body. The like she was talking about isn't what I thought, he thinks to himself. Suddenly, a cry for help. "Lion, help, help, Meredith!" He panics. He rushes to where she is and finds her tangled in the new dress. "Lion, I can't see anything." He runs over to help, but she keeps struggling in the dress. "Idiot, don't move, stick your head out here." "You still haven't gotten your head out. Meredith can't see anything." "The collar is here, don't hit my face." Lion gets bumped by her again. Finally, she manages to get the new dress on. Their eyes meet. Meredith can see again. At that moment, she's in Lion's arms. The clothes are on, the mirror is... Before she can finish, his eyes widen. Meredith wraps her arms around his neck and plants a kiss on his lips. It takes Lion a moment to realize she's kissing him. He pushes her away to her surprise. He covers his mouth, embarrassed. "Why did you suddenly..." "I don't know either, I wanted to..." Humans can only do intimate things like that with someone they love. We're not in that kind of relationship. Do you understand? Lion explains, but he still avoids her gaze. Meredith looks at him. "I understand. Do you really understand?" He asks again. "I really understand," she confirms. Lion's eyes are full of worry. "Good." But then she leans in and kisses his cheek. He raises his hand to block her. "Why are you doing that again?" Meredith cheerfully suggests. "Lion, be my lover? Then we can kiss." Lion unconsciously clenches his fists. "A lover is not what you think. Then what is a lover?" Meredith asks, puzzled. Lion loses his patience. "Love is too complicated for you. You haven't even learned the basics of being human yet. You can't even guarantee your own food and clothing. That's not true," she argues angrily. She looks down at the new dress she's wearing. Meredith has new clothes that Lion gave her. Her face glows with happiness. Meredith gets food and a place to stay from Lion. She wants to prove that she's living well with him. She grabs the hem of her dress and twirls in front of him. Meredith can also walk. Carelessly, she trips on her dress and falls to the ground in pain. Lion sighs in exasperation. He walks over, lifts her up, and gently advises, "Take off the new dress. It's too long. It doesn't suit you." Meredith looks at him, surprised. Lion sets her down. "I just gave you a gift. If you want to become human, you have to earn the things you need yourself." "How do I earn them?" Meredith asks, not understanding. "Earn money," he says bluntly. She holds up 2 fingers and looks up at Lion. Meredith has already completed the mission of earning money. "Those 2 coins. 100 coins," he replies. Meredith freezes. "100 coins?" Lion puts his shirt back on and explains. "You can't live in a human town with just 2 coins, so your next mission is to earn 100 coins. He picks up his jacket, ready to leave. "When you've earned 100 coins, I'll teach you something else." "Will you teach me what a lover is too?" she asks quickly. "I will," Lion doesn't refuse. Meredith begins her challenge of earning 100 coins. That evening, she records the money she earned that day. Helped an old lady find her lost kitten and earned 5 coins. Money, plus 5. Helped the weapon shop owner catch a monster and earned 15 coins. Money, plus 115. Helped a kid hide his homework in a cave and earned 1 coin. Money, plus 1. Helped a restaurant wash dishes and lost 20 coins. Money, 20. She had accidentally broken a plate and the restaurant owner made her pay for it. My plate! I earned 1 coin today. Meredith holds the coin she worked so hard for. She's excited to show Lion. "Lion, you're back!" She runs to greet him as soon as she sees him. She can't wait to tell him about her day. "Lion, you won't believe it. Today, Before she can finish, he cuts her off. "I'm a bit tired today. I'm going to my room to rest." "You should get some rest too." He walks past her coldly. Lion slams the door shut, leaving Meredith alone in the living room. Lion's new day begins with him teaching her the basic things humans do in the morning. What their nights are like, I don't know. Don't ask. To Lion, who is struggling to get Meredith to brush her teeth. Seeing her dozing off irritates him. "Don't tilt your head! Wake up!" While Lion is busy teaching her basic hygiene, he hands her a cup of water. "Rinse your mouth and don't swallow." Meredith thinks, I couldn't talk to Lion last night, so I couldn't sleep. I'm so sleepy now. Lion takes care of everything for Meredith, from big things to the smallest details. Even when she's spitting out the water, he reminds her and helps her by tucking her hair back. Careful with your hair. Meredith thinks, Lion was so tired yesterday. Today I can probably share my money-earning story with him. Meredith turns to Lion. Lion, Before she can finish, he's already wiping her face with a towel. All clean and bright, Lion says done wow with pride. After getting Meredith ready, he quickly leaves, telling her, the crystals for you are on the table. Remember to eat them. I'm also very busy today, so you don't need to wait up for me tonight. Meanwhile, Meredith hasn't had a chance to say what she wanted to, struggling to keep up with Lion's haste. Lion, wait for me, she calls, chasing after him. As Lion leaves, Meredith is left alone with a pile of magic crystals. She had been looking forward to telling Lion her stories. Looking at the crystals on the table, she says sadly, maybe after tonight, Lion will be done with his work. That evening, when she sees Lion return, Meredith follows him, wanting to tell him her story. Lion, today she begins, but he cuts her off again. Lion has barely been home before he has to leave for work again. He hasn't even changed his clothes. As he grabs his luggage and rushes out, he tells her, I still have things to take care of. Go back to your room first. She understands that he has work to do, so she accepts it. Maybe tomorrow Lion won't be busy, she tells herself. The next day, as soon as she sees Lion, Meredith runs to him, calling his name. Lion! Suddenly, Lion grabs her by the shoulders. Not only does he not listen to her, he scolds her. Haven't we talked about this before? You can't always be so familiar with people of the opposite sex. Meredith's eyes well up with tears. Not even a hug? She asks, pouting. Yes, Lion nods in agreement. After he leaves for work, a dejected Meredith is left sitting by the front door. Lion has been so busy lately, she thinks. It's been almost a week, and I still haven't been able to have a proper conversation with him. No matter how lonely she is, Meredith patiently waits for Lion, but boredom is inevitable. Even when she's bored, she only thinks of him. Maybe after I earn 100 coins, Lion will talk to me, she says sadly. A voice calls out her name from somewhere. Meredith? Missing Lion so much, she mistakes the voice for his. She jumps up happily. Lion! When she sees who it is, she becomes even more dejected. She slumps down, turns her head away, and sulks. Oh, it's just Vincent. Seeing her disappointed expression, he says, Hey, you're not even trying to hide your disappointment. Ignoring her dislike for him, Vincent hits a nerve with just a few words. Lion has been ignoring you lately, hasn't he? I see him with another girl every day. He's definitely planning to get rid of you. Hearing Vincent badmouth Lion, Meredith jumps up and retorts, You're lying, Vincent. Lion has just been very busy lately. Seeing her so defensive, he smugly provokes her. You don't believe me? Let's go see for yourself. He decides to take her to see Lion at work. When they get there, she sees Lion happily chatting with some girl. Vincent takes the opportunity to needle her further. Now, do you believe me? Seeing the two of them happily chatting, Meredith unconsciously starts to walk inside. Seeing things get out of hand, the supporting character Vincent panics. Hey, don't go in there! The first thing she says as she enters the shop is his name. Lion. He's quite surprised to see her. What are you doing here? Didn't I tell you to stay home and practice your reading today? Meredith gives a simple excuse. I already know all the common words. Then have you earned your 100 coins yet? Faced with such a difficult question, she has no choice but to honestly lower her head and answer, Not yet. Lion replies dismissively, wanting to get back to work. Then go earn money. I still have some things to do here. Even now, he gives her no opportunity. Meredith can only reply dejectedly, Oh. She leaves in a daze. The woman, concerned for her, says, Be careful not to hit the door. Lion quickly runs after her to see what's wrong. Are you okay? Are you hurt? He asks. Seeing Meredith's unusual silence, Lion doesn't know what to say. Suddenly, Meredith looks at Lion and says sincerely, Lion, can you come home early today? Meredith really misses you. Faced with a beautiful woman pouting at him, Lion freezes, unable to speak. He softens at her plea and considers finishing his work early to go home with her. I promise, I'll come home early tonight. We can talk then. Hearing Lion agree to come home early, Meredith's mood improves instantly. Okay, she replies cheerfully. Her mood lifted, Meredith skips out of the shop, a happy smile on her face. Finally, I get to talk to Lion today. Behind her, Vincent is sneakily eavesdropping. He follows her and asks, What did Lion say to you? Seeing Vincent approach, Meredith covers her ears. Meredith isn't listening to Vincent. Seeing that she won't listen, he continues to badmouth Lion. Do you really believe him after just a few sweet words? As if his troublemaking mouth hasn't done enough damage, he adds, "Let me tell you, he just doesn't want you to." Before he can finish, Meredith, tired of Vincent buzzing in her ear like a mosquito, wordlessly grabs him by the collar. The next second, she lifts him up to use as a rain shield. In this ridiculous situation, he is just as surprised, shouting, "What are you doing?" Meredith joins in with her own question. As she holds him up, she asks, "What should I do? What should I do?" In the rain, their conversation continues. "Meredith, put me down!" Vincent yells in panic. "No! Meredith needs to find shelter from the rain." She refuses. Seeing the amusing scene, Roland approaches. "What are you doing?" he asks, bewildered. Thanks to Roland, Meredith finally lets Vincent go and answers his question innocently. Meredith is taking shelter from the rain. As for Vincent, unable to swallow his pride, he screams, "You still have the nerve to say that?" To accommodate Meredith, Roland gently holds an umbrella over her. "The church is nearby. Let me take you there to wait out the rain. It won't last long." Tired of being a third wheel day after day, Vincent says angrily, "I'm sick of looking at you two. I'm not going anywhere." The scene then shifts to the church where Roland has taken Meredith. Inside, Roland has changed his clothes and is drying himself off while asking her with concern, "Are you in a bad mood on a rainy day like this?" "Yes," Meredith replies sadly. Wanting to cheer her up, he suggests, "Then let me tell you a story." "What story?" Meredith asks curiously. Roland begins to tell his own story. A story about dragons and the royal family. 300 years ago, the royal family awoke the sleeping dragon clan. They made a pact with them. The dragons would protect humans from monsters. In exchange, the royal family agreed to sacrifice innocent children to them. However, once humans mastered the art of crafting weapons from magic crystals, the royal family made a decision to kill the dragons. Weapons, from spears to shields to swords, were all crafted from magic crystals. An army, bearing a flag with a sword in front of a dragon, used them all for the sole purpose of hunting down and exterminating the species. Roland continues, "The royal family not only betrayed their trust, but they also coveted the dragon's power. But the dragons ate people." He gently asks for Meredith's opinion. Does Meredith think what the royal family did was good? Expecting a thoughtful answer, Meredith says bluntly, "Who's good, who's bad?" She walks over to a giant statue of a dragon, gently touches its chest, and says, "Meredith doesn't care at all." She adds, "And why should I?" Hearing her answer, Roland falls into a contemplative silence, repeating her words to himself. "Doesn't care?" The story flashes back to Roland's past when he was just a street urchin having water thrown at him. A man had splashed water in his face and chased him away, shouting, "You're already so corrupt at this age, have you no shame trying to seduce my wife?" Humiliated, Roland had walked away, soaking wet. "It would be so nice if I were a dragon," he thought. He had a great admiration for dragons. No one would dare to throw dirty water on a dragon. Would a dragon even care about what humans do? In the eyes of the gods, humans are no different from ants. He looked up at the dragons soaring freely above him, a lowly being longing to be as strong and free as them. Back with Meredith, she offers a cryptic remark to Roland. "It's like seeing rabbits fighting in the forest. Meredith could go and pull them apart." Suddenly, Roland is holding two rabbits, one docile and the other more ferocious. "Between a good and a bad rabbit, which would you choose?" he asks. "Little rabbits," Meredith exclaims excitedly upon seeing them. If only one can live, how would Meredith choose? Roland repeats his question. The difficulty of the question isn't simply which one to choose, but how to choose. From many perspectives, both have a chance of being chosen, depending on the chooser. Without hesitation, Meredith happily answers Roland's question immediately. "Of course I'd choose the one Meredith likes the most." Hearing this, Roland's expression turns serious. "Even if it's the bad rabbit?" Meredith looks at the two white rabbits, one good and one evil, in Roland's hands and says, "Whether it's a good rabbit or a bad rabbit, if it's good for Meredith, then it's a good rabbit." In her heart, Meredith opens her arms to welcome the two rabbits, startling them into jumping out of Roland's hands. Meredith misses catching them and loses her balance. But luckily, Roland catches her just in time. Their eyes meet. Roland's hand holds Meredith's. Meredith startles and pulls her hand back. Roland's hand is so cold. Roland smiles faintly. "Maybe it's because of the rain. Have you ever been scratched by a rabbit?" Roland asks suddenly. Meredith shakes her head. "Lion said I can't just hang out with people of the opposite sex." Her eyes darken slightly, her voice trying to hide her sadness as she admits, "He was right about that. Maybe it's not because my hand is cold that she's avoiding me," Roland thinks. Suddenly, Meredith gently tugs on Roland's sleeve. "Roland, give me your hand. What are you going to do?" Roland asks, curious. Meredith carefully blows on his hand and asks, "If I do this, will your hand be a little warmer?" Roland's eyes widen in surprise, his previous thoughts vanishing. He takes a lock of her hair and wraps it around his finger, his eyes full of charm as he leans in and asks, "What if I had been the one to meet you first?" Just as Roland is waiting for an answer, a sound cuts through the strange atmosphere between them. The door opens. Lion is trying to force his way in, but it's not easy. The guards outside are holding him back. "Sir Lion, you can't go in. You can't." Lion's fury reaches its peak. He can't keep his composure, pushing aside the guards and yelling, "Get out of my way!" When he gets inside, he sees Roland and Meredith standing together. His eyes widen, his fists clench, and he's covered in a cold sweat, unable to hide his anger. Surprisingly, Meredith just runs over, drapes a towel over his head, and urges, "Lion, hurry! Huh? What?" Lion is completely confused as Meredith covers his head with the towel. To protect Meredith from his harsh words, Lion covers her ears and turns to Roland. Archbishop Roland seems to be particularly interested in Meredith, doesn't he? Seeing Roland's silence, Lion loses his patience and gets straight to the point. "What are you plotting?" His embrace reminds Meredith of the days she used to sleep in caves, on rainy days. Her eyelids feel heavy. Meredith feels so sleepy, she mumbles, and dozes off in his arms. As Roland walks down the steps, he says, "Sir Lion and Miss Meredith have no relationship. So I'd like to ask you the same thing." His words wake Meredith up. She sees Lion's face darken, his hands no longer covering her ears. She thinks, though she doesn't want to, "He's right. I have no relationship with her." Roland continues, breaking the silence. "Or is she the Queen's illegitimate child?" Lion grabs Meredith's chin, his fierce eyes staring straight at Roland, denying his suspicions. Does Archbishop Roland want to slander the Queen just because they look alike? "Do I look that much like this Queen person?" Meredith wonders. "Only a little," Lion replies. "I've met many people who look like the Queen before." "Oh!" Meredith exclaims. "If not for that reason, is it because Meredith is not human?" Roland asks, though he already has the answer. "You—" Lion starts, shocked, his eyebrows knitting together. Lion regains his composure. "No. Whenever Roland asks a question, the church comes to take people away. Is he intentionally testing my reaction?" Before Lion can say anything, Roland steps forward and reassures him. "Sir, don't worry. To protect Miss Meredith now and in the future, I will not mention her to the church." "Is that so?" Lion replies, though he certainly doesn't trust him. What Lion doesn't expect is that, a minute later, Roland says bluntly and seriously, "I like Meredith." Lion's eyes go from suspicious to wide with surprise, utterly speechless. He's at a loss for words. "What can I say? Where do I even begin to intervene?" he thinks, holding Meredith but unable to speak. Fortunately, Roland isn't trying to cut off Lion's chances completely. He leisurely looks at Meredith and says, "She really has a knack for picking the right time to sleep." At some point, Meredith had dozed off in Lion's arms again. Lion decisively holds Meredith tight, picks her up, and turns to leave, rejecting his rival. "Is that any of your business?" he says to Roland. Though he appears cold on the outside, inside, Lion is in turmoil. If she stays at the church, at least she can be hidden. Haven't I already made my decision? Finally, Lion carries Meredith back to his house. Standing in front of his large home, he can finally relax his guard. "We're at the door. Let's go inside before you fall asleep again." In her sleep, Meredith smells Lion's scent and thinks dreamily, "Lion smells so good." As soon as they enter, a familiar voice says, "Welcome back, Sir Lion." The familiar voice wakes Meredith up. She rubs her eyes, wondering where she is. When she sees the girl Lion was happily chatting with earlier that morning, she's startled. "Sorry to have kept you waiting," Lion says to her. Meredith's mind is in chaos. Lion is letting her live here? Is what Vincent said true? Seeing Lion soaking wet, the girl asks, "Did you not bring an umbrella when you went out, Sir Lion? Your clothes are all wet." Thinking back, Lion remembers that Meredith doesn't like water. They look at each other awkwardly. Thinking that Meredith doesn't like water, he says, "Get down, my clothes aren't dry yet." Hearing him tell her to get down, she thinks he's rejecting her. She clings to him tightly, screaming, "Meredith is not getting down." Seeing her strange behavior lately, he leans down and asks, "What's wrong with you? Is she going to live here with us from now on?" She asks hesitantly. Her question flusters him. The girl, amused, laughs at their bewilderment. After they've gone inside, the girl has Meredith try on a new dress. "Which dress should I wear?" she asks cheerfully, putting the dress on Meredith. It turns out to be the flawed blue dress from before. Seeing the dress altered to fit her better, Meredith says happily, "It's the new dress that was missing a piece." Lion comes over to clear up Meredith's confusion. The hem of the dress was too long before and you could easily trip on it, so it's much better now that I had it shortened. At this point, the mysterious girl's identity is revealed. She's the best tailor in town, and her name is Mia. She also answers Meredith's earlier question. I came here to deliver the dress, but it happened to be raining, so I stayed to wait it out. I won't be living here. Hearing this, Meredith feels ashamed of what she said earlier. She covers her face and yells, "Ah, I misunderstood!" I feel a little embarrassed, Lion says awkwardly. Haha, Miss Meredith is as cute as they say, Mia says cheerfully. It's getting dark, and it's time for Mia to leave. I'll be going now, she says. As she reaches the door, Meredith asks, Will you come back, Mia? I'll be back in 2 days to deliver a few more new dresses, she replies, turning back. Alone together, Lion asks Meredith, Do you remember when you asked what a lover is? Lion said he would teach me after I earned 100 coins. Meredith replies without thinking. Ignoring his own rule, Lion says, 2 people can only become lovers if they both have love for each other. He then asks her, You said you like me, but do you like Roland too? Yes, Meredith replies cheerfully. Meredith also likes Mia, Vincent, and the children in town. Seeing her innocent expression, Lion explains further. Love isn't about treating everyone the same. It's about priority. It's wanting to possess someone as your own and make them your life. Because I didn't understand what love was either, I went to the library to find out and finally found the best way to express it in words. Among all the people, I like Lion the most, Meredith replies to Lion. That's because I'm the first person you met. That kind of like isn't love, he explains. I only want to kiss Lion, Meredith insists. Seeing that she still doesn't understand, Lion patiently explains again. Humans also use kisses to show closeness. That's not right, Meredith vehemently objects. Then is what you're saying right? He asks back. Cornered by his logic, Meredith says bluntly, I have no opinion. Lion analyzes the situation. Meredith's thinking is very simple, no different from a child's. I'm just like family to her. Remembering how he treated her, Lion gently strokes her head and says, I was wrong to ignore you these past few days. I won't do it again. Was Lion very busy? Meredith asks, not blaming him at all. Yes, he replies softly. I still think, Meredith says, not convinced. Aren't you sleepy? Go to sleep. Lion cuts her off. Meredith, sleepy, agrees, but she whines. But Lion has to sleep with me. Did you learn something bad from someone in the past 2 days? He asks, at a loss. Having no other way to make it up to her, Lion opens her bedroom door. She stands there, and he says, Come on, I'll wait for you to fall asleep before I go back to my room.